when you say white privilege exists, good choice privilege exists.
Yeah, but I think white people reap a lot of benefits that other people.
Name one benefit that white people that they benefit from this society, despite
Police
Asian.
treatment.
What?
Police treatment.
What about police treatment? That white people are more likely to be shot by a police officer than a black person's likely to be shot by a police officer? From the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice independent study of 300 independent police forces across the country. Facts must bother leftists because they always walk away as soon as you recite them.
You can make
You have a ton of leftists here who are still standing here. Sir.
Well, I've already made a couple leave, but I'm happy to keep
Oh,
going.
you made a couple.
Well, that's great.
No, but let's get back. Can you,
That's quantifiable evidence.
if white privilege exists, why are Asian Americans and Indian Americans wealthier, have higher incomes, live in better areas on aggregate than white Americans do?
I don't know.
Maybe because white privilege doesn't exist.
Maybe, or maybe
Oh,
there's.
maybe it doesn't. Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe skin color has nothing to do with it,
But
and
I
choices
disagree
have
with
everything to do with it.
I disagree with you.
Then show me some evidence, because I just showed you some evidence that it doesn't exist.
What would you take as evidence? What counts for you?
Something that I just said, for example, that the wealthiest
Some
people in
numbers
America,
that you made
yeah,
up.
numbers would be nice, historical data,
How about
logic.
testimony?
No, testimony means
Testimony
nothing.
count?
I don't care about anyone's version of truth. I care about evidence. I don't care about feelings. I care about facts.
Aren't most of these studies partially based on testimony, though?
No, when you say that Asian Americans are the richest people in America, that's math. That's looking at people's income. That's not testimony. Testimony would be a singular person saying, I've had a tough time. That would be testimony. Which that might be true, but that doesn't make it true in the aggregate.
Against black people?
I'm sorry?
Is there discrimination?
There's discrimination against all sorts of people.
Yeah, is it worse against black people or is it equal?
Depends what part of the country, it depends what situation. And when that
So
exists,
if you put it
there's
all
laws to
together,
put
which
people in
one-
prison.
If you put them all together, which race cases of discrimination is discrimination?
I would say probably Hispanic Americans in certain parts of the country, even more so.
all of the
But I have no data to support that. You asked me some anecdotal question. I haven't done that much thinking about it. But I'll say this. In America, if you make a sequence of good choices irrelevant of skin color, you will be rewarded for those choices. We're one of the only countries in the world where that is possible, where you can have intergenerational ascension, where your kids can be better than how you are today.
That's like kind of a fallacy.
It's not a fallacy. That's why Asian
doesn't
Americans
apply to
entered.
everybody.
That's why Asian Americans entered in the 1940s as the poorest group in America, and they're now the richest group. The Constitution was not written in Korean, yet they have benefited the most from what people call a white predominant society. Indian Americans, for example, from India, are the second richest per race.
Was the
Category in
Constitution
America.
written in Hindi?
No, that's exactly the point.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Continue.
The point is that people say that our society is rigged for white individuals and white men. The evidence does not suggest that. There's twice as many white people living in poverty today than black people. Now, the rate for poverty in the black community is much higher, but the aggregate number is something that should not be ignored. So the misconception that our country is rigged just for people based on a certain skin color has zero evidence. Yet that is the predominant thing that is being taught in our
When
universities.
did it stop?
What do you mean?
When did it not be rigged anymore? Because it clearly used to be rigged. You're saying it isn't rigged now.
That's a fair point. I'd say throughout the 60s and 70s and 80s, as America got significantly less racist, as we passed the Civil Rights Act, things got more equitable in the sense where better decisions got rewarded more.